welcome to Relish Books. I just went used book shopping. It wasn't really my intention, but I was out and about and I stopped at Forget Me Not Books, which is a little used bookstore here in Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks doesn't have a ton of book options. There's a huge Barnes & Noble, which is very nice and very beautiful. But of course everything's new, everything's really expensive. And like even the paperbacks and everything are super expensive. And also I would always rather support a small independent bookstore than a huge corporation. I still love going to Barnes & Noble. And I go there if I want something very specific or just like look around for fun or for gifts or whatever. Forget Me Not is great for just looking. It's really tiny. It's funny. I moved from Homer, Alaska, or the Kenai Peninsula area, and Homer's a tiny town, but it's very like arts oriented. So they had a small independent new bookstore and then a couple of used bookstores. There was just, it felt like for how small the town was, more options down there. Up here, I guess I was maybe expecting there to be more because it's a much bigger town. But but Forget Me Not is really great. It's just very hit or miss whether it will have anything that I'm interested in. Its classics section is very small. There's a ton of, there's shelves of fantasy and sci-fi and westerns and all those like gaudy paperbacks, and the classics is like this little shelf, and then there's like some essays and poetry that I always really like to look at. But yeah, it's very hit or miss. I found a lot of great things there, but some days they just like have nothing that I'm looking for. And I don't usually like go and just buy a bunch of books that I don't know something about or haven't heard of, because it's just really dangerous to do that. There's just so much junk. But I found some today that I'm excited about. So, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I don't actually really know anything about this book, but I saw it and I knew the title. I've seen it like on book lists and stuff, and I think it's a neat title. And then I read the back, and it has this little blurb. It's a little quote from the book. Janie saw her life like a great tree in leaf, with the things suffered, things enjoyed, things done and undone. Dawn and doom was in the branches. And I was like, this sounds very literary. This sounds good. So it's also short. So I don't know, maybe it'll be terrible, but I'm going to give it a shot and let you know what I think of it. Then I found this giant collection of Edith Wharton novels. I have always heard of Edith Wharton, but I have never read any of her work, and I've never really heard any of it like discussed or really talked about. I know that she's like a big author, she's celebrated, all that. But yeah, I don't really know anything about her work, so there's 3 novels in here. Normally I wouldn't buy a big collection like this. But again, I feel like with used books, they're really nice to like get cheap, and if you don't like them, it's no big loss. And if you do really like them, you can always get rid of this edition and get nicer ones at some point in time. But I might, after my Jane Austen series is done that I'm doing, I might do a series with these 3 books. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. So I'm excited about that. And then this is on my book list. I was really excited about this because it's on my book list for this year, but I didn't have a copy yet. This is a really disgusting copy, but again, if I like it, I could get something nicer. And it's Look Homeward Angel by Thomas Wolfe, which I've been meaning to read for a really long time. I think it's a beautiful title. I've heard some things about it that sound really intriguing. Again, I have no idea whether it's good or not. But yeah, I'm excited to read it, even though this is a really hideous edition. And my final one, Good Poems for Hard Times, selected and introduced by Garrison Keillor. I have the original Good Poems book, and I loved it. Love the introduction. Garrison Keillor is, can be a amazing writer, amazing storyteller. He'll like drift way off the deep end sometimes. I shouldn't even say drift. Sometimes he dives way off the deep end and you're like, what's going on? He used to be such a great writer, such a great storyteller. What's even happening right now? But, so sometimes he can be pretty crazy, but a lot of his stuff is really great. And yeah, this is a collection of tons of different poets, but I really loved the first one. So I was excited to see this, and I thought it would go nice on the shelf next to my other one. I feel like a lot of people, have these palate cleanser books that are like, how do I put it? Like if they're reading big, more difficult books, they'll have like these lighter reads. And sometimes they, choose things like romance or, just something very light, sometimes of inferior quality. I'm not blaming anybody. I do that too. But a really great palate cleanser for me is books of poetry. It just kind of gives you a sense of space and peace between big reads, as long as it's not like an intensive, difficult book of poetry, because there's definitely that too. And at some point I will make a video or multiple videos about the poetry that I like, but I feel like it's a little bit more of I feel like it's probably a little bit of a smaller community. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, but I'm really excited about that. So yeah, those are the books I found. I'm really excited about them. I got a great deal. Most of these are $4, but I had they do like these little punch cards. You buy 10 books, you get one free. So I had a free one. So I spent like $13 on these 4 books. So it was really great, and I'm really excited. So that's that for right now, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.